Well, hello and welcome to another episode of WaltInPA. My name is Walt. It is it's a chilly Tuesday afternoon? Yeah, Tuesday. I lose track of what day it is half the time anymore. With this whole working remote pandemic situation, every day kind of blends together. But today is Tuesday. I'm taking a ride out to Speakeasy Coffee Company in Perkasie, Pennsylvania, out in Montgomery County, to re-up on some coffee. I just finished up another one of the bags that I bought recently, and my supply is getting a little on the low side. So I thought I'd ride out, check out some new stuff. I want to try their bootleggers, which is Mocha Java. I want to try their Half Nelson, which is a half caffeinated medium dark roast, I think. And they have a fall seasonal, which is pretty interesting, that I want to try. They also, which I've been kind of keeping a lookout for a while now, they have a rye barrel aged coffee. Well, they had it. They had it a few months back. I was really eager to try it. It was limited quantities. They sold out. I got word that they were doing it again, and I inquired about it the last time I was there. They mentioned that they were going to put it on their website for pre-order probably in the next week or so, and I've been checking pretty regularly, and I haven't seen it yet. So I don't know if I missed it, if they haven't posted it yet. I'll probably ask while I'm there, because the idea of rye aged coffee sounds very interesting to me. I'm not a rye drinker. I like high rye bourbons, but I'm not a rye drinker per se. So I'm pretty interested to see how it tastes being aged in a whiskey barrel like that. I'm still drawing a blank on what I actually want to talk about between here and the coffee roaster. So it is early afternoon. I was hoping to get over to Speakeasy Coffee Company much earlier on this morning. They open at 9 a.m. for bag pickup, and I got sidetracked and I wasn't able to get away from work like I had hoped. So things kind of snowballed from then. So early on this morning, my workload was looking really light. There wasn't much going on. It was like crickets from the office. And then just as soon as I'm ready to go do something, it's kind of like when the floodgates opened up. There were a bunch of questions that needed to be answered, and needed to get in touch with the dealer to verify some things so that some stuff could be produced. It was kind of a flurry of activity. And then I got a phone call from my father-in-law asking me if I could lend him a hand picking up a motorcycle. Now, I've told this story before. I imagine, yeah, this will come out after the Motovlog that was dedicated to motorcycle towing. So you'll know what I'm talking about if you watched it. So I can just assume you know, like, a little bit of backstory there. So my father-in-law calls me up and he says, "Hey, I've got to go pick up a bike down in Pottstown. Could you lend me a hand?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I ran over, we hopped in the truck, and off we went. So we're making kind of small talk on the way over there. I said, this is kind of unusual. Usually when you call me for a motorcycle repossession, or not a repo, when you call me for an impound on a motorcycle, it's usually in the middle of the night. He said, "Yeah, this one's a little bit different. It's out in Pottstown. And in addition to that, which is kind of unusual since we are not in Pottstown, he said it's a recovery." Now, he doesn't do repossessions or anything like that, but apparently it was a stolen motorcycle that was found in Pottstown. The owner, the last registered owner, belonged in the town that we're in, so the police wanted it transferred out of Pottstown back to where the owner might potentially be. So that was kind of an interesting situation. My wife's getting all nervous, like, "Oh, you're gonna go steal this bike? No, there'd probably be police there. Like, I'm not gonna go break into someone's house or, you know, backyard or their shed and run off with a motorcycle that doesn't belong to them. So we rode down into Pottstown. There were several police officers there, several cop cars, and when we got there, the bike that we were picking up was still inside the shed, which was in a little alley in a not so great part of Pottstown. And outside the shed was this tiny little quad. You know, it looked like it was probably meant for I don't know, like a 6-year-old child. This itty bitty little thing. And then next to that was one that was maybe twice as large, which I would assume like maybe a 12-year-old would ride. Both of those were being dusted for prints when we arrived. And I guess the dual sport, which what we were picking up, was cleared to be removed. So we loaded up as usual and we're on our way. It was pretty uneventful. You know, talked to the cop for a minute or two. That was pretty much the extent of it. Very, again, very uneventful. So a little while back, I posted a video. I think it was entitled, you know, do you have a go-to route or something along those lines? And basically, I was posing a question to the audience, asking if you had a route that you took on a regular basis to account for weather or just the fact that you didn't have much time to ride, that sort of thing. And the response was kind of split. You know, about half of you said that you do have a particular route that you take on a regular basis. The other half said you try to mix it up as much as possible. You don't necessarily have one particular route or a go-to route per se, which I thought was pretty interesting, you know, the split there. And I have been, I don't know, I guess trying to tweak mine a little bit. Now, so the route that I take, there is one part of the ride that I just don't like. It comes out to an intersection that's busy and it's just kind of awkward. I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary, but it's just in a bad spot, and it makes making a left in traffic kind of difficult. So I've been toying around, looking at maps, exploring a little bit, trying to find a way around that one intersection, and that in itself has been a bit strange. So I wound up going up this mountain road back in the Bally, Bechtelsville, Boyertown area, I guess it is, like Bally, Bechtelsville or so. I'm climbing this mountain, it's beautiful views, you know, it's an awesome ride. But when you got back there, when you started getting up there on these back roads, the road condition was a little sketchy. Some of them were tore up, some of them had massive potholes. Excuse me. Some of them turned into dirt roads, gravel roads, which was, well, that was too sketchy for me. I turned around. I didn't want to be going down the mountain on a gravel road. And then when I did get out to what looked like a main section of road that I could travel easily, of course it was oil and chipped. So that created its own set of problems. And when I say oil and chipped, I mean like fresh. I had never seen like the liquidy oil still wet under the chips. So I don't know whether I just missed them or what. But that was a road I was not going down. So I turned around again. And after all that spinning around and backtracking, I wound up at the same intersection anyway. So I'm still trying to tweak that route just to avoid that one intersection that I just don't want to deal with. It's not that it's a bad intersection, it's just not a great intersection, and I just don't want to have to deal with it. So that's why I'm going through so much trouble to try to get around it. Now, what you may find interesting is that I modified that route slightly to make it longer, and it takes me right past Speakeasy Coffee Company. So I'm kind of hoping that we can get to the point where Maybe I can make it up there a little more regularly. I hope this guy's going to let me through. You know, since there is no flagger. There we go. So it takes my route and expands it considerably. I don't know what kind of mileage it adds, but it adds another, I want to say 30 minutes at least to that loop. So I've kind of got my short section and my longer section of loop now. And then of course I'm always like looking for other areas to travel to, other routes to take, just for a little bit of variety. I'm a creature of habit, so I like knowing where I'm going and how I'm going to get there, and like falling into a rhythm, and then I never have to think about it, like, you know, what are the road conditions going to be like at this place. You know, you always have to worry about construction and accidents clogging up a roadway, but you know, if you can take away most of the unknown as far as, you know, are there potholes on this road, is it in dire need of resurfacing, you know, if you can take all that out of the equation, it makes riding a little more enjoyable. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for exploring, and I like trying new roads and going out and finding my own little adventure, but there is merit to knowing exactly what you're going to get when you go out for a ride. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for this episode of WaltInPA. I'm coming up to Route 29, I think, and that'll be a good place for me to turn off the camera and switch over to, well, to the next one that I want to record. So, if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification to get alerts when new videos are uploaded. Don't forget to like, comment, and of course subscribe. I just said that. Now I feel like a salesman of some sort. As always, thank you for all of the support. It is greatly appreciated. And as always, ride safe. And I will catch you in the next one.